Alright, I'm back. Today's July 19th, 2018. And I just finished watching American Media, the second assassination of JFK. And I think that movie put the last cog in the machinery of how I think everything is working. That was the last cog that suddenly all the gears started turning. It all makes sense now. And you can really see how it got to where we are today. Let's go clear back to after World War II, when the CIA was created, the Central Intelligence Agency. The idea for the Central Intelligence Agency was thrown out there by a guy named John Forrestal. Okay, John Forrestal just so happened to be a Wall Street guy. So here we have Wall Street starting a new department in the government that's completely in the shadows and that has pretty much all the power at once. So when the CIA was created, we didn't really have any enemies. It was largely a peacetime. World War II was over, the world was recovering, everything was looking on the up and up. We just defeated the evil. So everything's on the up and up, and we didn't have any enemies. So the CIA was created by Wall Street. Then we get JFK in office. One thing that happened when JFK was office was the Bay of Pigs in Cuba. Now, JFK publicly said on television that we would not be involved in Cuba militarily. We're not going to intervene. It's not our fight. So he'd already said that publicly. Well, his security advisor came to him and said, we have an idea with this Castro, the dictator problem in Cuba. We think if we get a group of anti-Castro Cubans to invade and we publicize it, the rest of the country of Cuba will stand up and unify, and they'll get Castro out of power. So JFK thought to himself, well, it's still Cubans fighting their own battle. We're not doing the fighting. Yeah, let's go ahead and let it happen. Now, he didn't tell the American people that's what was going on, because that was a CIA project and it was classified. So now you've got this group of anti-Castro Cubans that are invading Cuba in what's known as Operation Zapata. Okay, Operation Zapata. Interesting name. One of the boats carrying the Cubans was named Barbara. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, this doesn't make any sense. Zapata and Barbara, what does that have to do with anything? Well, George Bush Sr., if you'll recall, was in the CIA. He was pretty high up. I think he may have been the head or a divisional head. He was pretty high up in the CIA. Now, what is George Bush Sr.'s oil company named? Oh, that's right. It was Zapata. And what's his wife's name? Ooh, Barbara. So if you've got a classified operation under your command going on, and the name of the operation is the name of your oil company, and the boat being used in the operation is your wife's name, you would think that would put you pretty high up in the ranks of the CIA in order for you to be naming the missions. Now keep in mind, he doesn't have to worry about anybody connecting the dots because it's all classified. Nobody will see it but the very top of the CIA. Okay, now the Bay of Pigs started to occur and was failing miserably, horribly. So the people involved at the Bay of Pigs, the soldiers that we were supporting, just like the moderate rebels in the Middle East, Anyways, these moderate Cubans, we'll call them, were having serious problems. They were being slaughtered, so they called in for air support. JFK said, no, that's not our fight. Okay, fast forward to Guatemala. In Guatemala, Arbenz, that was the leader's name, he was fighting to give all the people of his country a fair return and compensation for their produce. So you've got farmers growing bananas. He wanted them to get a fair market value for their bananas. He wasn't good with all of them getting slave wages and the corporations getting paid billions off of their labor. So he started to build a case and started to fight, bring the people up against the major corporations. Well, the CIA stepped in and got him out of power. Next thing you know, Chiquita Banana and Dole Food, there's all kinds of companies that swarmed in and made millions because they had a friendly person in the Guatemalan government now who would play ball with corporatocracy. Let's go to Iran. In Iran, you had Mossadegh. Mossadegh nationalized BP oil because he wanted the people of Iran to be compensated fairly for the oil being sold to the world market. Okay, what happened to Mossadegh? Oh, that's right. We kind of, helped out some moderate rebels and got him replaced with the Shah, who was a tyrannical dictator. But now look at it from a Wall Street perspective. You have a country that nationalized oil. That means you just lost massive profits on your investment overseas. So they get him out of power. Okay, yay, they've got their profits back for oil. But why don't we go ahead and put in a tyrannical guy that we can fight, because we're also invested in the arms industry. Sounds like a win-win, right? Got your profits back for oil and you get to sell billions in weaponry. Keep in mind, Wall Street is running the CIA. Alright? Okay. Now, we've got Mossadegh's out. We've got Iran taking over. They started Operation Mockingbird. Operation Mockingbird is where they put assets, CIA agents, in all of print media, television media, radio media, the movie industry, so it would appear that the CIA, who'd been practicing overthrowing governments overseas to make money for Wall Street, it would appear that that same CIA is now trying to manipulate the entire American populace for the same reason, so that they can make more money on the stock market by manipulating the American people. You get the American people behind you, then you can go ahead and sway public opinion to go to war and make more money. In comes Vietnam. JFK said, we're not going to Vietnam. It's not going to happen. We're not going to be involved. And he announced that around the same time that he said he was going to scatter the CIA to the 1,000 winds. That's a speech you can look up. He did say that. So, let me look at my notes here real quick, just to make this a little bit more factual. Turn on some light for you. Okay. Now, there was over 400 assets in the media in the 50s. There was a trial that took place and they admitted it in court. At about the same time, they were admitting that they had a heart attack gun, a gun that shot a small frozen shard of a poison that had such a short half-life, all you would have on your body is a tiny red mark where the shard went into your skin. Your heart would stop, and then the medicine would break down and be untraceable. They showed that in court. You can look it up. It's public record. Okay, now we've got all of these people in media. We've got JFK saying we're not going to Vietnam. After the Bay of Pigs, let me back up. After the Bay of Pigs failed, Kennedy took the blame publicly. He said, it's my fault this happened. I will take the blame. This won't happen again. But then behind the scenes after the interview, he went ahead and fired Allen Dulles of the CIA and General C. Cabell, C-A-B-E-L-L. And he was overheard telling them, if this were England, I'd have to go. But this is America, so you have to go. Kind of insinuating that we're not ran by the royals, the elite, that we're ran by the people, not the money. Now that General C. Cabell, he was the brother of the mayor of Dallas. So now the mayor of Dallas's brother just got fired by the president. Okay, the CIA, after the Bay of Pigs, talked everyone into how bad Vietnam was and the commie theory and how the domino effect, communism would spread and it'd go from Russia to Vietnam to China and we'd all be communists. We have to protect ourselves from the Reds. That's when JFK said publicly, no fighting. JFK signed the nuclear test ban treaty with Russia. Did you know that we had a treaty with Russia banning all testing of nuclear weapons? Yeah, after the devastation in Japan, why not ban the shit out of them? Okay. JFK had signed a nuclear test ban treaty with Russia and challenged them to a peace race. A peace race. They were going to de-arm each other. They were going to basically get rid of weapons worldwide and turn the planet into a utopia, which is what everybody wanted. Okay. So you've got JFK pushing for peace, and you've got Wall Street, who makes a shit ton of money off of war. Before the parade where JFK was killed, there was a threat received by George Bush in the CIA, but it was pulled by FBI's Moyer. He was the press aide to Lyndon Johnson. That press aide went ahead and said, we don't think this threat's credible. Let's go ahead and put the president in an open-top limo, and we'll see where it goes. Now, the day before the parade, that night, like at 11 p.m. at night, they changed the parade route. It was supposed to go through Dallas, straight into Dealey Plaza, or straight into the plaza, but they made a last-minute change to go off course and go by the book depository, and then into the downtown. The person who made that change was the brother of General C. Cabell, who'd been fired by the president. So now you've got a sitting president who has received death threats in an open-top limo that had its course changed so that all the security that was set up and scheduled to be in place is no longer where it should be. Kind of seems fishy. It would appear that the majority of our problems today all stem back to the assassination of JFK. That's when a coup actually took place. Wall Street took the country over. The bankers, the rich, the elite, they run the country. Carter had said that it would be in our nation's best interest to eliminate the intelligence agency. Reagan started to turn things around. What happened to him? the attempted assassination. CIA. There's too much money involved. The people who are calling all the shots and manipulating everybody are under classification, so we can't even see what they're doing. Their money is off the books. You don't see this as a problem. We need to have a completely transparent society. Eliminate classified info altogether. No black projects. Get rid of all of it. It's a government by the people, for the people, so we should darn sure know where our money is going and who's really calling the shots. It's very simple. Think about Wall Street making money on pharmaceuticals now. If you have the CIA who's been caught smuggling drugs into the country, okay, now the CIA is smuggling drugs in. Does Wall Street make money off of that? You're darn tootin'. Through the prison system. Now, how about America's health? What if I fudged the numbers on, I don't know, the dangers of sugar, the dangers of fats, the dangers of trans-saturated fats? What if I could change people's opinion on that? Knowing full well they'll have health issues. That's okay though, because I'm invested in the pharmaceutical industry. Wall Street's making money. Operation Mockingbird is what destroyed the country. We need our press back. We've been living under nothing but propaganda since 1964. Actually, since before that, because Dan Rather, while reporting on the assassination, lied through his teeth numerous times. What did he get in return for just consistently lying? An $8 million TV show, he got bumped to the top of the list of reporters. It's all about the money. That's why TV is faltering now. TV's falling apart. Everybody goes to the internet. The internet's just like a box of Cracker Jacks. Yeah, you've got some nuts and you've got some corn. But if you actually look and you think and you double check and then you verify, you do research, you find a hell of a lot of prizes. Get rid of the CIA. We fixed the world. We can't stop there though. Because if we get rid of the CIA but leave Wall Street in place, they'll just start a new division. Let's call it the Outside Intelligence Agency. It could be anything. Anything that they would talk us into doing, because all of the media is still controlled. Public perception can still be swayed, and they can talk us into whatever they want and make billions, if not trillions, in the process. Look at how many fake wars we've had. George Bush lied about weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Laughed about it. Said, oh, no weapons over there. The media laughed about it. But the way the media manipulated us, they make us think it was all okay. Look at Libya. Look at every war we've been in since World War II. They've all been fake. They've all been nothing but money makers to install a government that will let our corporations run rampant and rape that country of every national resource it has. The human one included. How many hundreds of thousands of people have died because of their greed? That's what we need to change. Watch John Borden's American Media, The Second Assassination of JFK.